Today we are breaking down everything you need to know to make Zani not just good, but absolutely crack the battlefield wide open. We will cover her best builds, team comms, gameplay tips, and the occasional existential crises when you realize that you forgot that she can parry. But before we get into it, if you guys want to top up on loot nights, but oh my god, it is so expensive. Well, lucky for you, I have a sponsor that could help with this exact issue. Thank you for ldshop.gg for sponsoring this video, where you can get loot nights or other in-game purchases at a discount starting with a 10% off. That is pretty good, and it's pretty simple, you guys. All you have to do is enter your UID and server, and then you go confirm the order, and then you proceed to checkout, right? And as you can see, my order got completed, and immediately you see like I have loot nights ready to use, and I can pull for the character or weapon that I want. The shop itself is very safe and reliable. On top of that, they have a discount for new users, and you can use my link down below in the description to get an exclusive coupon, and with this coupon it brings you up to 25% off to save you a lot more, and you can even spend $80 to gain VIP status. With a VIP status, you can claim a free loot night subscription and a bunch of weekly and monthly coupons. Check out the link in the description or pinned comment down below to save with LD Shop. Let's continue with the video. Let's get into her kit now, because this will be a mouthful. Zani is a Spectral Limited 5-star gauntlet wielding main DPS, whose main goal will be to rely on the highest possible amount of Spectral Frazzle application in order to deal a ton of damage to enemies. Also, funny the game says that she is a gauntlet character. Truth is, her weapon is actually a fat shield great sword hybrid that looks so heavy it should come with a chiropractor appointment, which is only fitting because her primary damage type is heavy attacks, along with Spectral Frazzle damage. That's right, Zani is a character who benefits from two damage types at once, being heavy attack and Spectral Frazzle damage. Characters who buff either pair well with her as a result. The main element of her kit is tied to her ultimate and her forte all at once, which is a special mode she enters called Inferno mode. That being said, other elements of her kit are also important, but we will just explain the most important parts for now, right? When Zani uses her ultimate, we won't go into a ton of details yet, but she gets a really cool transformation that not only looks amazing, it lets her do a beatdown so hard it feels like your Asian son just got a B- in math. She also gains abilities that allow her to parry and reduce the damage she takes by a good amount, so Zani doubles as a tank type character, a great asset to her team options. This ultimate stance relies on one thing, her forte bar, which she charges up in several ways. The main one being applying Spectral Frazzle stacks via other characters. Because Zani doesn't apply any Spectral Frazzle herself, Zani's forte passively converts any Spectral Frazzle your teammates apply into 𝗖cie Ember, which can activate a 5-piece Eternal Radiance but isn't registered by the game as Spectral Frazzle for any other purpose. So something like Phoebe's Absolution Star Flash attacks won't be empowered, since the enemies don't actually have Spectral Frazzle applied on them. What 𝗖cie Ember does is it gives instant damage instead of damage over time. Its cap is 60 stacks instead of 10, and it can be consumed by Zani's abilities during her ultimate stance. Guess what she does with it? That's right, to deal a lot of extra damage. The other way for Zani's ultimate forte bar to charge up is via her enhanced skill, outside of her ultimate stance. She does have a kit outside of her ultimate stance, but for the most part, you will want to spend the least time on it possible. Most importantly, she has a separate forte bar which charges up via her base skills, basic attacks, and her intro. If you hold skill, it acts as a parry stance with a counter if the enemies attacks you, but if you just tap it, it will do a simple hit of damage. Basically, it's like 𝗖cie but with the emotional weight of a final boss fight. Her enhanced skill does a lot of damage, but can also parry if held or simply hit if tapped once again. It also has the effect of amplifying any Spectral Frazzle type damage by 20% for 14 seconds, so you really want to execute your enhanced skill before going into her ultimate stance. All the damage it does is counted as heavy attack and frazzle damage, which means you are amplifying that quite a bit. You can consider her ultimate as lasting about 14 seconds, as that is how long the Spectral Frazzle amplifier from her enhanced skill lasts. She also gets a 25% multiplier increase to her basic attacks, but this won't apply to her enhanced kit, so you can just ignore it like the age rating increase. Speaking of which, during her ultimate stance, her whole kit is changed to an enhanced version, with new basic attacks, a new forte bar, and a new parry skill. All of her skills now deal a lot more damage at the cost of your ultimate forte bar. The more forte you consume during basic attack 3, the better, again depending on how much Spectral Frazzle your other characters can apply. When you have almost exhausted your ultimate forte bar, 30 out of 150 points left or less, Zani can perform a second ultimate called The Last Stand, which has a cool animation and pauses all in-game timers like an ultimate. This ends her Inferno mode and her rotation. Finally, Zani's outro skill consumes all stacks of Ember that you had previously stacked up, each of them increasing the damage dealt to the target by her outro by 10%. On top of this, good hit of extra damage. Zani also buffs your Spectral characters other than herself by giving them 20% Spectral damage amplification for 20 seconds on outro if they have a 𝗖cie Ember applied, which is a small boost to your party's damage. So all of those kit explanations were really long. However, what her kit boils down to is charge up your enhanced skill, get all your buffs and spectrofrazzle stacks from other characters, and then intro skill to Zani, use your enhanced skill, and then your ultimate, and then just do basic 1, 2, 3 combos, parries or dodge counters until you exhausted all of your forte bar and finish it with the last stand. So a rotation to follow type out looks like this. Intro, resonance skill, basic attack 3 times, do your enhanced resonance skill, do your ultimate, and then from here you can basic attack 1, 2, 3, do it twice by the way, 1, 2, 3, and then do the last stand, and then you do the outro skill. It is good to know, by parrying an enemy attack with her first skill, you can skip the need for basic attacking 3 times. Also in her ult state, the basic attacks there can be replaced by a dodge counter or a parry using her skill, as she follows up with a counter called Light Smash, and then you can also do basic attacks anyways, so overall it is a net positive. When it comes to her builds, this is what you should be using. For echoes, 5-piece Eternal Radiance with either Capitanius or Nightmare Morning Aches in the main slot. Capitanius should outperform slightly, but it isn't a necessary upgrade. You need a 4 cost anyway, so a Nightmare Morning Aches is totally fine. 5-piece Celestial Light with regular Morning Aches in the main slot is also possible, but it's really cope and not recommended. If you're too lazy to farm echoes and you like making poor life choices, it is available for you. No judgment. Okay, maybe some judgment. For main stats, 4 cost crit rate or crit damage depending on your stats, 3 cost spectro damage bonus. It is also fine having one of them being attack percent, and then the 1 cost are all attack percents. For substats, you should prioritize crit first, and then attack percent, and then heavy attack damage bonus, and then flat attack. Liberation damage is also okay, but shouldn't be prioritized. For the weapons, you use Blazing Justice, which is her signature weapon. Of course, it is her best one. It is a massive boost, so definitely consider obtaining it if you're planning to pull Zani. For alternatives, Tragic Comedy Rachia's weapon works fantastically because her basic attacks counts as heavy attack damage, so the passive fits like a glove. After that, you can consider Xiang Liao's weapon Verity's Handle and the standard banner weapon Abyss Surges. For 4-star options, you can use Legend of the Drunken Hero, a good craftable option. For the skill priority, you should go Forte first, and then ultimate, and then the skill. The rest can mostly be ignored as they contribute very small amount to her damage. When it comes to her damage, once again, tragically, Zani cannot apply any Spectrofrazzle herself. She needs a Spectrofrazzle applier on the team. Who qualifies? Phoebe, especially in her sub DPS mode, Spectro Rover, or the soon to come Chiokono. She needs at least one of those 3 to function, the same way your Wi-Fi needs at least 1 bar to play the game. Other good teammates include Mortefi for heavy attack damage amplify, and of course, the reliable Verena and Shorekeeper for their usual buffs. Here are some Zani team ideas. Best in slot is the Zani Phoebe Shorekeeper. Phoebe buffs Spectrofrazzle damage by massive amounts, applies more Frazzle stacks than a stack of unpaid parking tickets, and is the best pick overall. Shorekeeper does her usual job here, which is basically buff, heal, and wonder why she is stuck babysitting again. Good hyper carry team. This team is also usable with other supports than Shorekeeper, with the best options being Spectral Rover on Rejuvenating Glow and Verena. Zani, Mortefi, and Spectral Rover. This is the best free-to-play team if you don't have Phoebe or Chakona in the future. Mortefi amplifies heavy attack damage, which works great. Rover applies less Frazzle than Phoebe and offers less damage amplification, so you will notice a damage gap. It is kind of like switching from espresso to decaf. You will survive, but you don't live. Do you understand me? Because nowadays I feel like I need more caffeine. Don't sleep. I don't even socialize anymore. Every day is getting darker. But at least I got Zani. Anyways, use Spectral Rover on the Rejuvenating Glow set. You can also consider using Shorekeeper instead of Mortefi and running Spectral Rover on Moonlit Clouds, but performance will be about the same. Now we got Zani, Chakona, and Spectral Rover. Chakona works well in an off-field Spectrofrazzle applier. You can optionally quick swap between Spectral Rover and Zani during Zani's rotation to apply even more Frazzle, turning the battlefield into a proper rave party. Not as strong as Phoebe because fewer buffs and a bit slower application, but it's still a very solid team. Spectral Rover should be on the healing set as usual, but this last team can be ignored for now until Chakona is officially released. Now let's get into the sequences. I'ma give you a disclaimer though. Zani's baseline damage is already so high that she doesn't need sequences to clear endgame. Only pull for her sequences if you really want to, or if your wallet has developed the gacha addiction. Zani is one of those characters blessed with a really good S1. If you decide to grab it, it is a big upgrade, on the same level as her S2. Yes, for once in your life, S1 is actually worth more than S3. Your college diploma can't say the same. Her S3, S4, and S5 can mostly be ignored in comparison to the first two. They are not bad, they are just middle children, quietly existing without making much impact. S3 is the best of the 3, but again, none are really recommended unless you're aiming for the S6 and you just hate disposable income, right? Her S3 allows her to extend her combo with 1 extra chain of attacks and enhance multipliers. As expected, it is a huge boost, but realistically, it doesn't add that much more value compared to what S1 and S2 already gave her. Now let's get into the pros and cons of playing Zani. Here are the positives. Very high baseline cleave damage, with lots of optimal swap cancels windows during her ultimate. That means you can feel like a fighting game pro while mostly just mashing buttons. And then she is easy to use use thanks to the natural tankiness and simple combos. She deals both Spectrofrazzle and heavy attack damage simultaneously, giving you plenty of ways to buff her damage. She can parry enemy attacks to enhance combos and stun enemies faster by draining their vibration bar quicker. Also an excellent way to establish dominance. She really looks cool in her ultimate stance, and that is a fact. I talked to like multiple theory crafters, heck, I talked to real scientists about these things. And now about the cons. She is expensive to access maximum damage potential. Zani really likes being paired with Phoebe for massive damage amplification, resistance shred, and various other buffs. The short version of that, without Phoebe, a lot of her damage potential evaporates, kind of like your paycheck on a gacha banner. Her full combos are inaccessible without enough Spectrofrazzle application to get maximum Blaze Forte points. Currently, only Confession Phoebe enables this. This locks her into a very specific team archetype, so team flexibility goes out the window. I hope you weren't planning to build that Zani only speedrun dream, because I don't think it's gonna work. Regarding Zani's position in the meta, right? Zani looks fantastic for both casuals and sweaty veterans alike. She is simple to play, but outputs insane damage. You can easily run her in teams with heavy healing, and she even gives herself generous damage reduction, making it practically impossible to die outside of hologram events. And even then, you will only die because of a lag spike. You swear you wasn't your fault, eh man? Her biggest flaw is the expense. She heavily leans on her signature weapon and Phoebe as a teammate. If you can stomach the investment though, she delivers massive returns and absolutely melts endgame content. In short, Zani is in a very good spot. And that wraps up everything you need to know to turn Zani into a one-woman demolition crew. Remember, stack your Spectrofrazzle, time your Inferno mode, and don't be afraid to parry like your dignity depends on it. Because let's be honest, it probably does. With the right setup, Zani's damage will leave your enemies wondering why they even bothered showing up. If you found this guide helpful, or if you just enjoyed having someone explain mechanics without threatening your IQ, considering dropping a like, subscribing to the channel, or just leaving Zani strong in the comments to confuse the algorithm gods. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there. That is all from me, 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗵𝗁, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!